All right, welcome to another session of English. My name is Mr. Wanyonyi, a teacher of English at Ansaaru National Primary School. Welcome to our program on Dawa TV channel. Today, I would like us to look at determinants. It's a writing session. But before I look at determinants, it's always important to have a recap on what we had discussed in the previous session. So in the previous session, we were looking at question tags, which is another examinable area, an area that's normally covered from grade 4, standard 5, 6, and now in class 8. So I did wind up my lesson in the previous lesson by looking at some key general rules governing question tags. Maybe just a recap on one or two. One, we talked of the use of this or that plus name of a person, that this should neither be taken up by she nor he, but referred to as it. That when we have this or that followed by a name of a person in a statement, this name of a person, be it masculine or feminine, it shouldn't be followed by she or he, but that name of a person is referred to as it. Consider a very simple sentence or statement, that is Omar. So those ones viewing me, you can take your pencil, as I told you in my previous session, that always before you answer any question, learn to consider identifying the keyword in that statement or in that question. So a key reminder here is that. What about that? And Omar reminds us of this rule that this or that followed by the name of a person is referred to as it, but not she or he. So that is Omar. In this case, if I were you, I'll write first of all it before that, to remind me that this case I will not use he for Omar, but it for Omar. The sentence is positive because of the auxiliary is, and to a positive statement we are entitled to add a negative question tag. So since our auxiliary is, we make this is negative by adding not to form is not, and the short form of is not, viewers, is isn't. And because of this rule, now our question tag shall be isn't it, not isn't he. So today, as I've said, I would like us to look at determinants. And determinants, these are words normally put. These are words that normally come before nouns. And whenever they are placed before nouns, they are used to determine two things in a noun. First, the determinants are used to determine the position of the noun. And two, they are used to determine the quantity or number, answering the question of how many. That is, a noun can be treated as singular, one, or a plural, more than one. So in this case, because of time, the determiners we are going to look at, remember, determiners are categorically put into two groups. First, we have determiners with singular nouns, and two, we have determiners with plural nouns. So basically what I would like us to look at today are as follows. The determiners, we have are, we have an, then we have some, we have any, then we have much, and we have more, we have many, we have little, a little, the little, several, few, a few, the few, among others. To begin with, I would like us to remember the following before we explain these determinants. These determinants, as I've said, are words placed before nouns. And when they are placed before nouns, they are used to determine two things in a noun. First, determiners are used to determine the quantity of a noun. Quantity of a noun answering the question of how many are they referring to. Are you referring to one? If it is one, then they are called singular nouns. If there are many, then we refer to them as plural nouns. But before we refer to them as singular and plural, or in singular forms and plural forms, first and foremost, find out what uncountable and countable nouns are. It is out of these two groups of nouns, uncountable and countable, that we shall be able to identify if these nouns can take both singular forms and plural forms. Countable nouns, from the word count, refer to names of those nouns which one is able to count and come up with a specific number. If I talk of this object is a duster. I'm able to call it a duster. The real object is duster. But because of the quantity, I'm able to place the article a to say a duster to show that it is only one, but not more than one. If I consider the object I'm holding, this is the object in the name of pen. But to denote the quantity, I'm able to add the article a to call it a pen. If I look around again, this is another object, and this is time. If I'm to denote the quantity, I'm able to add the article a and I call it a time. If I touch my body, this is I. But to denote the quantity, I'm able to add the article an and I call it an I. So I'm able to count these objects. Objects that one is able to count and come up with a specific number are collectively referred to as countable nouns. However, with uncountable nouns, one is unable to count and come up with a specific number. It is quite unfortunate that we are not able to count water. We can't count saliva. We can't count sand. We can't count sugar. We can't count noise. We can't count milk. We can't count oil, among others. So such examples as water, saliva, sun, sugar, noise, milk, oil are referred to as uncountable nouns. So we are going to use these two when explaining our determiners that have been listed here. Let us begin with the article are and an. So Roman 1, we can have are and an. Are and an are collectively referred to as indefinite articles. Indefinite articles. They are referred to as indefinite articles because they are used to introduce unknown nouns. They are used to introduce unknown nouns. Why do I call them unknown? They are unknown because they are being introduced for the first time to the listener. If I bring to your attention this object once again, fine, all of us know this one as a duster. But because I'm introducing to you for the first time, I'll call it a duster. So, the articles are and an are referred to as indefinite articles. They are used to introduce unknown nouns. How are they used in this case as determiners? That the article are and an are used with singular countable nouns. Singular countable nouns. And underline singular countable nouns, to be specific. Whereby they are used with singular countable nouns because whenever a or an are placed before a noun, it reminds us that those nouns are just one. Point number 2. For us to be able to use are and an successively in sentences, we need to remind ourselves of the alphabets. To which alphabets are put into two categories. When we have the vowels and the remaining ones are referred to as the consonants. Which are the now B, C, D, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So when you look at the board, I've classified these 26 alphabets into two groups. We have the first group, which I've referred to it or them as vowels, and the second group, which I've referred to it as the consonants. So in the use of both are and an, it's important to note that the are article is used with the nouns beginning with a consonantal sound. Our article is used with the nouns beginning with a consonantal sound. such as the ones I've listed here. If we take the first one, we can form such a word as a bird. If we take the second one, we can form such a word as a cat. If we take the third one, we can form such a word as a duck. And finally, if we take the last one, we can form such a word as a frog. You can form as many words as you can using these consonantal sounds. You should also note that as much as we have said that the R article is used to the nouns beginning with a consonantal sound, R article is also used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound but pronounced as a consonant. It is a vowel sound, yes, but pronounced as a consonant. Consider the following words. 1, we have unit. 2, European. And 3, university. When you look at the 3 words, these 3 words, at the beginning of these 3 words, we have the vowel sounds. We have the vowel sounds. But when pronouncing these words, they are not pronounced as if at the beginning we have the vowel sounds. However, these vowel sounds are pronounced as the consonant Y. Therefore, instead of them taking the an article because they are vowel sounds, they take the a article. That's why we are able to call the first one a unit, not an unit. The adjective formed from Europe as a noun, this is a proper adjective, European, is said to be a European, not an European, because at the beginning here, as much as we have the vowel sound, that vowel sound is pronounced as that consonantal sound. It similarly applies to university, which as much as begins with Y, pronounced as that consonant Y, now takes A. So we shall read them as a unit, a European, a university. For example, a University of Nairobi, among others. What about the use of an article? An article is used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound. Beginning with a vowel sound. What do I mean here? That our article is used with nouns beginning with vowel sounds, and these vowel sounds, as I listed for you, are as follows. These are the 5 vowels. As much as we have many more, but at this level, let us have those 5. So if I'm to begin with the first vowel sound, we can form the word as an apple. The second one, we can form the word as an egg. The third one, we can form the word as an inkpot. The fourth one, we can form the word as an orange. And finally, the last one, we can form another word as an umbrella. So when you look at these words, the first one has taken the first, look at the article, look at the vowel sound at the beginning of each noun. You realize at the beginning of each noun we have the vowels. So an article is used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound. And just to beef up also, just like we talked about the use of an article being used with the nouns beginning with a consonantal sound, and can also be used with the nouns beginning with a vowel sound but pronounced as a consonant. The an article, as much as they are used, it is used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound, an article can also be used with nouns beginning with a consonantal sound. For example, silent H. Consider the following examples. We have the first word as honest. We have the second word as an hour. We have the third one as an honor. So when you read these words, the first word is read as honest. You don't read it as honest, wrong. The second one is read as hour. You don't read it as hour, wrong. The third one is read as honor. You don't read it as honor. So in the three words I've used as examples, you find there is silence on H. The H in the words is not pronounced. That's what I'm saying, that an article can also be used with nouns beginning with silent H. H in this case is not a vowel, but H in this case is a consonant. But as much as it's a consonant, it is not pronounced. So in our words, it's like we are pronouncing these words beginning with a vowel, not a consonant. That's why the words are taking the article an, not article a. So it is wrong, for instance, to say that Mr. Wanyonyi was in our class for an hour. That's a very wrong sentence. But right to say Mr. Wanyonyi was in our class for an hour. Maybe it was an hour lesson. B, that was a honest man. Wrong. But right to say that was an honest man. So please note, these are very simple areas, these simple sentences that people make mistakes day in, day out in their conversations. So that's all about the two articles are and an. It's important to note that the two articles are and an are treated as indefinite articles. They are indefinite articles because they are used to introduce nouns to the listeners. And they're introducing these nouns which are being treated as unknown because they're being introduced for the first time. Don't mistake the use of a and an articles for the use of the article. That as much as I've said a and an articles are used with the singular countable nouns and are indefinite articles, now the article is used as a definite article. It is used as a definite article. It It is a definite article because it is used to talk about things which are already introduced and therefore known to the listener. If I can take you back to class 1 to 3, where we had the following sentences with your teachers. For instance, you could find a teacher introduce a sentence as, "This is a glass." This is a glass. A has been used because it is when the teacher is introducing glass to you. The teacher goes ahead to say, "The glass has water." He may also go ahead and say, "The glass is broken." So in the first case, the teacher used "a." But in the second case, the teacher has used "the" because the glass has already been introduced. And now that has been introduced, it is now already known that what the teacher is talking about is neither tree nor a locker, but a glass. So since it's already known to the listener, now the teacher introduces glass with the article "the," which is now definite. Thirdly or fourthly, may we now look at the use of some. Class or viewers, some as a determinant is used with, first of all, plural countable nouns. That the noun, first of all, should be countable. Two, should be in a plural form. Plural form. That's one use. Two, some is also used with uncountable nouns. So you can have some being used with both, therefore, countable and uncountable nouns. And if it is used with countable nouns, then these countable nouns should be in the plural form, not singular form. Some boys, some desks, some teachers, some eyes, some clothes, some classes, some houses. You cannot say some duster. That is wrong, because duster, in this case, we don't know if it is one duster or two dusters. Some boy, wrong, but some boys, among others. So what are other uses of this some? First of all, some is used with positive sentences. Positive sentences. Consider a sentence as, "I can hear some noise outside." I can hear some noise outside. Some noise. First of all, noise is uncountable. But when you listen attentively, then you are able to hear noise outside. Mr. Wanyonyi has some money. So the sentence is positive because should Wanyonyi decide to take out his diary, you find him have some notes. So the sentence is said to be positive because he has got some money. So some is used with positive sentences. As I've said, I can hear some noise outside. When you listen attentively, you are able to hear noise. Mr. Wanyonyi has some money. When you check with him, he has got some money with him. That's another use of some. Two, some is also used to refer to not all. Not all. If, for instance, a teacher comes to class and says, I have not marked some books. I have not marked some books. It does not mean that the entire class didn't collect the books. The class collected books, but not all books had been collected or were collected for marking. That's why the teacher is complaining that he has not marked some books. Some books does not mean all the books. So some, viewers, is used to mean not all. On the same note, we should also be able to note that some is also used with interrogative sentences, but expecting only a yes response. Expecting only a yes response. Remember, whenever a question is posed, the expected answers are always either no or yes. But in this case, when some is used with interrogative sentences, viewers, the expected answer is only one. That is a yes response, not no or yes response. So, what can we conclude here? That our session today was about determinants, which I listed many more than what we have covered on the board. But because of time, and as I like saying, Rome was not built in a day, we have managed today to cover the articles are and an, and also some. In our next session, we shall continue with the remaining ones. But before we call it a day, what can we conclude? One, that a determiner is a word that's normally put before a noun. And whenever a determiner is put before a noun, it is used to determine two things. Mainly, it can be used to determine the position of the noun, or it can be used to determine the quantity of the noun, whereby quantity is the same as number. How many are they? Is it 1, 2, 3, or more than one in short? That's one. Two, a and an article are collectively referred to as indefinite articles because they are used to introduce nouns. An article is used with nouns beginning with a consonantal sound. However, an article is used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound. An article can also be used with nouns beginning with a vowel sound but pronounced as consonants. And finally, an article are also used with nouns beginning with silent H. We added on the use of the article briefly. We didn't go to the nitty-gritty of the use of the article. But briefly we say that the article is used as a definite article to talk about the known or introduced nouns. And finally, we've summed up our lesson using the use by looking at the use of some article. Maybe for purposes of practice, I can leave you with roughly 5 questions to test your understanding. The first question, the instructions are fill in the following blank sentences. Fill in the blanks in the following sentences using the most appropriate determiner. Question 1. Juma is dash honest businessman. 2. I saw dash girl at the door. 3. The teacher addressed us for dash hour. And 4. It is dash honor to meet the president of the United States of America in person. And finally, number 5, we can say, please assist me with dash sugar, brackets, any or some. Have those 5 for practice as we call it a day, and pray hard that we meet in another session, a continuation on the same, to look at the remaining part of the terminus. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless you. Meet you later in another session. For those ones viewing for the first time, my name is Mr. Wanyonyi, a teacher of English at Ansaaru Primary School. Thank you.